Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we are making beef pho. Shout out to my girl Sandy Dowdy who invited me over for some pho, and it was so delicious. I didn't want to bug her, so I decided to make it on my own. So starting off here with about six beef bones, large beef bones. We're gonna add those in. Look at that beef bone and the marrow in between. That's what's gonna give you a great stock. And check out my fingernails because they look good. Okay, now we're just gonna put the top on that and let it boil. Okay, and after boiling for a while, we're gonna take the lid off. We want our broth nice and clear for our pho, so we don't want all of this stuff floating around on top. So this was the purpose of us boiling the bones first, and we're gonna rinse those off and drain them so that we end up with a clear, or as clear as I could possibly make it, broth for the pho. So as you can see, all of that we wanna get rid of. So just continue allowing it to boil. All right, I've taken my bones out of the pot. I've poured the dirty water off, and I've rinsed them off with cold water, put them in a bowl. Now I'm adding them back into my pot, and I really tried to get them as clean as I possibly can. I've never made any kind of soup with bones before. This was my first time, so cut me some slack in case you see something floating on there later on. But now we're just gonna add them back and start adding all of our other ingredients. I'm going to char a whole onion. You might want to add 2. If I could go back, I probably would have added 2. I'm just going to peel it just because the outer piece can probably burn over the open flame, because that's where I'm placing it. If you had a whole knob of ginger, you want to slice that down the middle and place it on the open flame as well. I actually used my last piece of ginger in a smoothie drink that I made, so didn't have any. But you definitely want to add ginger here and an onion. While your onion and your ginger are on the eye of the stove, kind of burning away over there, we're gonna go ahead and toast the spices on medium-high heat. So I have here some cinnamon, I have some star anise, and if you've ever had star anise, it kind of gives you licorice with a hint of nutmeg. I can't really explain it, but it's used in a lot of Asian cooking, and it smells so good. I also had a seasoning packet from a friend of mine who got this from the Asian market for me, but you can always go to an Asian market and just be aware that, you know, sometimes the foods are labeled with a foreign language and you may not be able to read it, but they are so eager to help you. You won't have a problem. Just say, hey, I need the aisle where the pho ingredients are. So I see some nutmeg in there, some fennel seeds, just awesome stuff. So we're gonna toast those, and you'll know when it's ready because you will smell it. I'm just breaking this up because I'm gonna put it in a little pouch that the seasoning packet came with, and it just makes it easier for you to take it out and keep your broth clean and clear. It smells so good. So your beef bones are boiling, and now we're ready to add in our other ingredients. So to the pot, I'm gonna add the charred onion, about 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. If you're on keto, you probably can just add some plant-based sweetener if you'd like. 2 cubes of chicken bouillon, but I actually had the granulated, so I added about 2 tablespoons. Looking back, I probably add about 4. Our seasoning packet. And about 3 tablespoons of fish sauce. Smells horrible, but makes it so good. And now we're just gonna let that boil with the lid on for about 3 hours on a good low boil. For some added flavor, I also added the stems of my cilantro. I cut the stem off and wrapped it in some twine and removed the rubber band, and it just gives it more extra flavor. And that way I can also pull it out of the pot when I'm ready and I'm not fishing for little pieces of cilantro stem. All right, now we're gonna prepare the toppings for the soup. So I'm gonna slice some jalapenos and set those to the side. I keep my seeds in. You may wanna take yours out, but I like it hot. Next, I cut up some lime. Set that to the side. Here I used about 5 green onions. It's really gonna depend on how much soup you make, how much you plan to pack. So just kind of gauge it based off how much you think you're gonna make. Next, I am gonna take my Thai basil and I'm gonna pick the leaves off. Let me tell you about Thai basil. You cannot substitute this. You cannot replace this with something else. You have to have Thai basil. I think I've even seen mint, but don't quote me on that. But you definitely need Thai basil. So you're just gonna pick the leaves off and put them to the side. I also bought a bunch of bean sprouts because you're gonna need that as well. And one thing I've never seen in pho before, but I definitely used it, don't judge me, is water chestnuts. I love those. So here are all of your toppings that are gonna go in your soup, and it just makes it handy and dandy if you have it there ready so that you can make your soup. And then I pack these little bowls and I just put a little of everything, so when I am ready to reheat my soup, all I have to do is pour it in there. But that's everything: your jalapeno, lime, green onion, Thai basil, bean sprouts, and like I said, I had some canned water chestnuts that also go in. So now we're ready to assemble our soup. All right, let's see what we got here. So now I'm gonna take a slotted spoon. I'm gonna start removing my items, such as my cilantro stems. We're gonna remove the onion and as much of the black char pieces that was on the onion. We're gonna remove those. You may have some cilantro leaves floating around in there. We're gonna remove our flavor pack. You're also gonna take a spoon and get as much of that fatty grease off the top as possible, but I'm not going front. I do like a little bit left in there, but some people may want to remove more of it. Also, leave me a comment down below. Let me know, what did you do with your beef bones? Because I personally am not a beef bone eater. I just like the broth that it makes. So I threw mine away, but hey, let me know what you did with yours. As you continue to make this, I thought I did a very good job for my first time, but I probably will use oxtails next time in my broth. I've seen some folks add all different kinds of different bones to give different flavors to your soup. It makes it even more, the flavor more hearty, I guess you could say. But like I said, this is my first time. I'm experimenting, so don't judge me for just using beef bones, but next time I probably will use oxtails. But I'm getting everything out. So let me tell you about the meat that I used for my pho. It's traditional to put thin ribeye slices, and when I say thin, I mean like paper thin. You're gonna lay those on a bed of vermicelli noodles that you're gonna boil and put in there. But it is traditional to use the thin ribeye, and you pour the soup over the meat and it will cook it. Also, I've had some with meatballs. I've had some with shrimp and chicken. I wanted to add some shrimp, but my daughter's allergic and she wanted some, so I didn't get to add any. So I'm only using the thin ribeye slices, and you can find that also in your Asian market where they slice it super thin so that it cooks. And as you can see, it's turning brown as soon as the soup hits the meat. So you don't have to worry about it not being done, because I promise you that meat is paper thin. Okay, so I'm adding some water chestnuts, jalapeno slices, green onion, my Thai basil, bean sprouts, and also a handful of cilantro, a spoonful of chili oil. I have the very extra hot. I like for my nose to run when I'm eating pho, so add a little or you can add a lot. And a nice squeeze of fresh lime juice. Okay, once you mix everything up, this is your final result. I definitely will try the shrimp and meatballs next time. Also, I will probably use the meat from the oxtails to add into that also and make it just more flavorful. I hope you guys enjoy this. I made several batches. I was able to bowl for the week. I got about 5 bowls, and it was great. Every day it got even more and more better just from sitting and having all the flavors in there. I do suggest that you add a lot of cilantro to your pho if you like cilantro, but I hope you guys like this. So leave a comment. Definitely follow me on YouTube, Mash Up with May Lee, for more recipes and ideas. Thanks, guys.